Thanks for checking out this movie review video. This is for the 2024 release Under Paris, a French shark film, which a lot of people, I guess, were really excited about because it ended up getting a lot of views on Netflix when it dropped. They did do a pretty decent job of kind of hyping it up a little bit before it came out. So, yeah, I was down to check it out because I do like shark movies for the most part, especially films that are Jaws ripoffs, which this one is kind of it is a Jaws ripoff, and I'm always down to watch Jaws ripoff films. So it's got its own twist on things, obviously, but yeah. Directed by Xavier Gens, who did Frontiers, The Divide, Cold Skin, and Hitman. Yes, the very terrible Hitman film, which, by the way, a little bit of trivia on that. Xavier Gens had shot that film to be an R-rated film, and then after he had shot it, the studio said, oh, no, we need it to be a PG-13. And he said, I shot it as an R. It can't be a PG-13. So he wouldn't edit it, so they brought in an outside editor to cut it up, and he immediately said, I want my name taken off of this. It's not my film anymore. So he basically disowned that movie. And it makes you wonder, what would the R-rated Hitman have been like? Probably a lot better. The film was written by Jens as well as Sebastien Auscher and Yannick Dahan. Yannick Dahan did Rabid Dogs and The Horde, which I actually reviewed The Horde on my channel. It's a French film, so there are subtitles, although there is an option for English dubbing with this film, so you can do that if you're not able to do subtitles for whatever reason. It is currently available on Netflix, so you can go ahead and check that out. Quick synopsis. It's a Jaws ripoff film. It's sharks. So basically, it's called Under Paris because there's a situation where there's shark action under Paris in the Seine, and then in the catacombs, and yeah. So Under Paris. It makes perfect sense. It's definitely one of those movies that you can just kind of turn your mind off, which you would probably assume from a shark movie, because there really aren't any shark movies out there that are more intellectual or that really have good stories. The story's not great on this one. It's about the shark action, and how good is that shark action? You got to figure out for yourself how you feel about that aspect of it, because you just can't go into shark films thinking there's going to be a really good story here unless you're watching Jaws for the first time, and then there's a good story there. There's a bit of text at the beginning of the film that signals what is most likely the point of the film. There is a theme to the film, and I'll talk about that after I give the star rating for anyone who doesn't want that, because people can view that as a spoiler, basically. But it is an interesting... It gives you an interesting idea of what the film's going for before it even starts. So you can kind of view it through a certain lens. So check that out if you want to. The underwater shots look great. Xavier Gens obviously has done enough films that he knows what he's doing. He's able to direct the cinematography very well, and directorially does a good job in general. The cast is pretty solid. The dialogue's not bad. The dialogue's pretty good. And, yeah, I mean, it's interesting, but not super interesting. It's a shark movie. It's about the sharks. It's about shark attacks. Like, that's what everyone's waiting for. And unfortunately, it ends up being the situation where the exposition that they put into this and the character development that they put into this ends up being to the detriment of what people are just looking for in the film. But, it's a catch-22 because you kind of have to try and endear characters to people. So you have to try and flesh them out, create their relationships, have them have some sort of progression within the film in order to have people care about them when they're put into dangerous situations with sharks. So it's just, it is what it is. I personally, if I was making films, would never make a shark film just because it's a trap. Like, you can never make a great shark film because Jaws did it, and everything else after that is not going to be great. That's just the way it is. But underwater shots look excellent. I love that aspect of it. The setup for it seems pretty formulaic for shark films. Yeah, the very beginning sequence, you're just like, oh yeah, I've seen this before. many, many, many times. So, like I'm saying, this film is nothing unique when it comes to shark films. It's just about when it gets to the shark action, how is it? That's the big thing. And for me personally, I did quite enjoy the shark action of it, so it is an enjoyable film. They don't make you wait long to see some shark action, but then take it ahead 3 years and slow it down from there. So the opening sequence gets to some good shark action pretty quickly, and then they're like, here we go, 3 years later after this, and then things really slow down. It's like, let's have you get to know these characters a little bit more. Let's, have the setting of what's going on in Paris at this time when the shark shows up. And then, yeah, and it goes from there. And that's when you're just kind of like, I got some of the shark and I need more of the shark. And you're just giving me all this exposition and I'm not really interested, unfortunately. Although that might just be me. But, I've seen so many shark films that I'm always just waiting for the shark stuff. But, yeah. The characters don't seem that interesting, but you have to try. Like I was saying, they have to try and get people to care about these characters so that when they're put into dangerous situations, you feel like on edge. You feel the intensity of like, oh man, I really hope this person pulls through this. I hope that shark doesn't get them, stuff like that. But once chaos really hits, it's a pretty fun time. Like I said, if you're looking for a film, you can just kind of turn your brain off and watch some cool shark stuff. Go ahead and watch this. Definitely do that. There are way too many stints of exposition, and they just aren't needed. So like I said, obviously they do need to try and give you some of that stuff, but they did put way too much of that stuff into this film. The film is like an hour, I think it was an hour and 43 minutes with credits. That is way too long for what this film is. This film needed to lose at least 15 to 20 minutes. At least 15 minutes, maybe 20 minutes. It needed shaved down because for a film like this, you're not doing anything all that interesting. You're not doing anything all that new. So people just want the good stuff. And when you're just kind of like they already had enough of setting up the characters and enough of setting up relationships and developing the characters, but then they have all these scenes where they already did it. They gave you what they needed to give you, and then they keep kind of hammering it home, and it's just like, please just stop. Like, we already get the point. Let's move on. Where are the sharks? Let's go to the shark action. So anyway, it could definitely use some trimming down. Already talked about that. You feel like they're building up to something big for the ending. And it is. It is something big for the ending. I saw a lot of people online saying, oh man, the ending of this film is the big payoff. It gives you everything that you really want. I liked the ending. I thought it was nice. I didn't love it as much as I saw people reacting to it online, but I liked it. I thought it was pretty good. But as like an overall film, didn't love it. And then I'll give the thematic thing after I actually give the the rating right here. So before I give the rating, though, thumbs up on this video to help me with that YouTube algorithm. Subscribe to the channel if you want to support me. That's the best way for all this free content. And hit the notification bell button if you want to know when I'm putting up new videos. So my rating for Under Paris, out of 5 stars, half stars in play, 3 stars. Still enjoyed it. I thought about going 2.5, unfortunately, because it's not like great. But 3. It's pretty enjoyable. I did have a pretty good time with it, but nothing all that special. And to be honest, from Xavier Gens, unfortunately, I didn't expect it to be great. Xavier Gens is a good director from what that individual puts into writing. Okay, in my opinion. But anyway, now going to get to the... Oh, real quick before I get to the thematic thing, go ahead and put some comments down here if you've seen the film. Especially if you have differing opinions. If you love this film, let me know what you love so much about it, because I'm very interested to hear differing opinions on film all the time. So anyway, now going to the thematic thing. This film gets at the point that other species do and will adapt on Earth, while humans have chosen not to. And kind of what could be the implications of that situation, where you have creatures adapting to the changes from pollution, from climate change, all that type of stuff. They're adapting around us, yet we as humans are not adapting at all. We're trying to still live as if things are exactly the same. And yeah, it is an interesting aspect, although it doesn't make for like an amazing film. It's just an interesting aspect of it. But anyway, those are all my thoughts on Under Paris. Again, would like to hear other people's opinions. Thank you so much for taking your time to watch this video, and until next time, keep it brutal.